you. That was, wow. And so it is. Yeah, and so it is. Really beautiful. I don't think I've ever heard that done more powerfully. My heart is just all quickened. So here we are. Welcome. I'm going to talk to you about the idea of faith, and I love how Damien read this powerful passage of faith. Again, recognizing faith is what you make of it, right? I can't instill that in you, but the ideas that we share together today are an invitation for you to see how prayer and your beliefs lean into your faith and where your faith will hold you, that container of faith. So beautifully and powerfully expressed by Ernest Holmes in that passage, and it is in the hidden power of the Bible, that passage. So a great reflection, because it really has a lot of information on why we do what we do, why we do affirmative prayer and everything. So God provides me with every good thing today and every day, always. That's one of my faith messages to myself. God provides me with every good thing today, every day, and always. In my weakest moments, in my moments where I feel a little contracted, insecure, or doubtful, I remember that doesn't matter. That's the small me. I get that bloatedness out of the way, as Emerson reminds us, and remember that there's a truth within me, a power within me that is greater than that smallness that I'm making up in that moment. So God provides me with every good thing, with every wisdom, every message. It is God's word flowing through, and it is your ears, your God ears, that are hearing what is yours to hear. So as we look at belief, and we look at prayer, and we look at faith, I invite you to continue to explore the arena of your own mind. What's going on in your mind? So belief is a thing of thought. It's a thing of thought. It's one of those thoughts that you thought over and over again, and it just sort of became part of the wallpaper of your mind. It became that which became a touchstone to you. Could be a good belief, could be a sour belief, but it became a part of you because you never questioned it. You just allowed yourself to continue to rehearse it. And so it thinks, oh, you believe in this. And I was thinking about, in a broader way, I was reflecting in the middle of the night about the belief when the world was flat and how hard it was to convince other people that the world was round. Do you remember those days? I'm not that old. But we're looking at this now as we look at the idea of climate change and how some people believe it and some people don't. And we have the same controversy going on, but now with different words. Controversy or just an awareness. But it's what do we do with that? Do we stay open at the top and just believe in the amazing way that good is unfolding, that God will provide every good thing, always, every day? And so we become aware and enlightened as we move, but we watch what beliefs we're just holding because we can, because we're being stubborn. We can do it if we want to. We can believe that if we want to. And is it really serving others? Is it serving your heart? Is it making you contracted? Or is it opening you to greater possibilities? So belief is a thing of thought. And being of thought, because it's a thought, we can change the belief. And that sounds like, oh, good, thanks. Whew, I got it. And then we go out and then we're stuck with our beliefs and we realize, oh, it's not that easy. Because they bubble up. They're in that realm of the subconscious mind. They're in there. And we're thinking on the level of an awake conscious mind. And we're connecting that conscious mind with the divine mind. And we're requesting a greater awareness. But then it has to filter through that those rooms in our consciousness that hold these compartmentalized ideas of our upbringing, our race consciousness, those things that were imprinted upon us. That's what this whole teaching is about, to help us to really polish and take down the wallpaper of our mind until it's just a clear window of the divine, until we just take away all of that which has been our filter or our block to see the truth, the way, the one truth, and that is God is providing every good thing always, always. So being a thought, we can change our beliefs. Watch your thoughts. Watch them. Even as I speak today, watch what kind of makes you go, oh, she mentioned global warming. Ooh, she's getting political. You know, it's like, no, I'm not. I'm just speaking to what is, and it is ours to watch our heart go like this. And to remember the beautiful words of the song, that vibration, holy, 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 and to keep polishing and taking down the wallpaper and just allow that to mirror back to you the truth of the divine. So watch your thoughts. If you think something's going to happen to you, it probably will. And so if you create a belief around that, it will happen. Oh, okay, that sounds pretty easy too. So choose good. Choose good. Choose good to happen to you. Welcome that good. See it as already so. And then when something less than that interferes with that positive flow, and you're going to go, now wait a minute. I was being real positive, and why did this sucky thing happen? You just look at it and go, it just is what it is. What I think about it now is the choice of my heart. To quantify it into a field, I know a greater good is unfolding, so let go right now of my contracted heart and see what the divine message here is for me. So we think good, true, beautiful things. And I spoke at the 9 o'clock about the mustard seed of faith, and I'm just going to briefly share with you this adorable poster. It says, I have a mustard seed, and I'm not afraid to use it. It's holding it. And that mustard seed, for those of you that don't recall that parable in the Bible, the mustard seed, Jesus says to his disciples, have the faith of a mustard seed. It's planted in this hardened earth, but it knows its destiny. It knows within its realm, and each one of us has the same God seed deep, deep within. It's planted in the very altar of our heart. And Spirit is watering that all the time, watering and encouraging and intuitively speaking to you. Go here, usher yourself here, think this, don't go there. It's always there, this seed of great truth. And it always knows to move through the roughest of soils, the roughest of opportunity and experiences, and to emerge as a powerful tree, a bush of herb that overlooks the fields, and it allows its branches to hold the birds of the air and to make a refuge for others. That's what we're here for, each and every one of us. We are that mustard seed within. And so that is the faith. Have faith. Have that faith that this too is moving through you. This too, if it's an event that hurts you, it is passing through to shape you, to mold you. And if it's a real hard one, it's there to really get your attention. If it was too fluffy, we wouldn't get it. We just wouldn't get it. And yet, we really have profound growth at the toughest of times. So think about these things. Faith is the affirmation, either I can or I cannot. So faith can go both ways. Whatever you have faith in, you will experience. It is the cause and the effect. Prayer, so that is what faith is. And then prayer is our communion with the divine. Prayer is also every thought that you have. And so we could pray to the divine and then walk out the door and curse our world. Belief has feeling with it. Belief and feeling merge together into a thought, and it's created. If you invest so much of that sourpuss feeling into your thoughts and into your community and into your own self, that's what's demonstrated. So begin to cultivate that idea of, I'm going to hone my feelings with my beliefs, with my thoughts in such a way that only beauty can manifest around me, because that is the divine quality I choose to see in the world around me. So this communion of prayer with your soul, with the divine soul, with that light of your soul, with that connection to all that is, dwells within you as you. This is where we connect with the divine in the first two steps of every prayer. God is and I am, God is and I am. And I'm tapping now as I speak that words and I empower myself and I root myself in that knowing this divine creative presence, this soul connects with the oversoul, with the great soul, with the one soul, with the intelligence of all that is, and so be it. When I allow myself to just be ushered through my experience with that grace, with that knowing, I relax, and I allow the holy, holy way to be made manifest in the footprints of my experience. So create an affirmative knowing of your prayer and then act on it. The true prayer isn't so much in the words, it's in your action that follows, right? You can't be mouthing words and then going out into the world and being really an annoying person, bitter and angry and whining all the time. That's the kind of world you're creating around you. So watch as you say your prayers that you then let it be the lead of your heart. So begin to create that affirmative knowing as the action of your prayer now, unifying with this field of God, with this divine presence, through prayer, through the mind, through that unformed substance where thought is. Nothing has happened yet. It's just in your thought. And you're connecting all of those pieces, all of those fibers. Everything is yet to be until you state it so, until you feel it, until you really feel it. And when you get that part of you out of the way, that restricted part that allows yourself to be a divine conduit, this great divine self. This is a greater power than you've ever known. And when you call upon it for healing, for clarity of mind, for a desire for greater work, for whatever it is, you really have no doubt in that field. You go to the pure waters of the heart and you speak from there. You stand with your feet immersed in the clear waters of the divine. This communion with God, this unity with good, allows you to have a sense of completeness in life. And the veil of doubt, it comes, it's innocent. It comes, and it starts to put a veil over your experience. But you say, wait, doubt causes me to be in the shadows, to be small again, and I choose to follow the destiny of what is planted within me with pure faith that God's got my back here, God's got my soul here, God's got my forward action here. So we lift these veil and the face of reality will still appear. Things are what they are, but it's how we choose to work through everything that allows us to be set free. Now, this is what Ernest Holmes says, and a lot of the wisdom of this particular message comes from living the science of mind, and he speaks very eloquently. Prayer, then, is communion, and this communion pronounces life to be good. Prayerful communion ascends to the place where unity has not yet become variety. Let me say that again. This communion ascends to a place where unity, where the divine, where all that is, has not yet become the variety of your experience, where the unformed one is ready to take any specific shape. That which is unformed is ready to take shape. In this act of communion, the individual becomes co-partner with the eternal and gives birth to time, to space, to conditions. It's powerful. I can do that. Yes, through the power of your word, through the power of your conviction, to the ability of you to stand in your truth, to empower it in such a way that you really see it as now. And people will gripe at you and say, oh no, not so, look at over here. No, I choose not to see that as affecting the good that I have been praying and investing my whole soul into. Now, I'm amused by, there's this idea inside of me that I pray for energy and to be ignited with this source, to feel it propel me forward. And then I see this little guy eat one of Adrian's cookies that she's selling out there. He eats one of those cookies, and I'm thinking, oh, I love those cookies. I had some of the Valentine ones. I love those cookies. And I'm watching him, and he gets up here, and he does like this yoga stuff up here on the stage. I'm thinking, hey, look at that. Look at, if I had a cookie, I could do a plank from that high step. And then push my butt up and be in downward dog and get out gracefully. I can do that. I can do that. So I'm going to order some Adrian's cookies. I have faith in her cookies. You see how the belief comes? There it goes. There it is. Just like that. We observe, we watch, we put two and two together, and then, but I'm really, truly impressed by the power of that young man. I'm glad he's not my grandchild, but he's a sweetheart. He's a sweetheart. So this, going back to just what are you dwelling your thoughts upon? Is it a greater good for all, or is it the opposite? So let your mind be engaged with the divine in such a continuous communication for good. There's a statement of fasting. A lot of fasting goes on in the Bible, fasting and feasting. And the idea is sometimes as soon as somebody says, I always share this story, but if I have to get my blood drawn for my lipid panel, I never eat breakfast, hardly ever till around 11. But you have me fasting, I'm starving and grouchy at 7 in the morning. And I'm like, what is that all about? But it's this fasting. Fast from the ideas that cause you harm and restriction. Fast on those. There's many ways to fast. And feast on what is good. Feast on what builds you, the light in your soul, which polishes those walls inside your interior. Let your mind engage with the divine in this continuous communication of good. Fast on what is not right and feast on the plenty. Feast on what is good. Develop a serenity in your soul. I love that. Holy, holy way. The serenity of our soul. This is a divine gift. And when we accept this idea of serenity, we breathe with that. Everything feels like everything's okay right now. Everything's okay. Serenity, peacefulness. It's a divine gift. And when we accept that, when we operate from that, we are convinced that we are truly living in a spiritual system. And we are governed by a benevolent consciousness. We truly are. We lift ourselves to that source. So all our spiritual practices, everything that we tune into, is training our mind to converse and commune with the divine in truth, not to dump all our troubles on the divine and say, fix all this. We speak an affirmative prayer, and we take our action into that prayer, into the creative form, and we allow ourselves then from there to be very clear and to start experiencing a desire that we choose. So remember, thought plus your feeling manifest your experience. So we're going to try to train our mind to have the feeling equal the thought. There's the secret ingredient. When we get those two to line up, and it just is so. You see through the problem. You don't dwell on the problem and keep twirling on it. It's kind of, entertaining. You got something to say at the dinner party. Ooh, go listen to Sue. She's got something to say. Oh, yeah. She had a really... No, don't dwell on that. Dwell on the spiritual truth of the possibilities through the problem. And share that with one another. That's fun. The possibilities of what can emerge. So a saying you want to see this greater light emerging, this greater light. And every time there's a greater light, there'll also be a shadow. But we're not afraid of the shadow. We don't doubt the shadow. The shadow is going to be a message to propel us or to kick us in the rear end, to really see clearly through all sides of everything. So there was this wonderful story, and I want you to kind of feel in your own self. Remember, when you're tuning in to the divine within, you're tuning into your intuition, to an inner vibration, to a stirring, to a new thought, to a new story, to a new way. And so there is this story from Mark Nepo, and he describes this boy at sea who had witnessed the seasickness in all the rougher waters. And he thought his solution would be to go, even telling the story, my stomach starts to go, that's my belief, but because I've been on these boats. But he went down to the bottom to try to get away from it, right? His father says, no. He said, what you got to do is to be brave. And he said, many sailors, when they're feeling that way, they make their way to the deck and they look out to the horizon, right? They look out beyond. So here's the suffering down below in the belly. But no, go to the deck, look beyond, look to the greater idea. Look to the horizon, look to that which is greater than you, and keep your focus there. Wow. I think that's a brilliant to see the larger view in context. Everything becomes less upsetting. You're less engaged with it. And so you see yourself when you're facing any big challenge, and instead of staying inside the smallness of the problem, where the greater fear and pain can rise up and really get a hold on you because it feels so engaging. You say, no, I'm gonna pray, and I'm gonna see exactly, I'm gonna feel, I'm gonna really immerse myself in the emotions of my prayer to really paint the horizon of a greater good unfolding. I'm gonna make my way to the deck despite the pain I feel. I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna lift myself up. So anytime we're feeling despair, faith is called upon. And when we narrow our view at all in a moment of our suffering with any taste of doubt, we aren't removing anything. We're just allowing everything to kind of continue to create a bigger storm around us. So keep God in view. God is always on the horizon, and faith is making our way to the deck despite the pain. I'm going to take you in a small spiritual practice together as we do a closing here, but I wanted to restate the faith of the mustard seed in the parable is, if faith like the grain of a mustard seed said to the mountain, move, it will move. The tiniest of all is the small beginning of faith to become the tallest shrub. Faith spreads and becomes large enough to care for the birds. This is the incalculable power of God when unleashed in our life. I think that's exciting to recognize this. And there's a Sufi story, again from Mark Nepo. He says, the thirsty man follows a muddy stream into a cave. He carries a lantern, holding it before him, and finds the clear source where he can drink from. Muddy waters, go into the cave, go into the darkness, find the clear waters and drink. So when feeling muddied and troubled, we must not drink from the mud, but trace its course carefully, carrying the light of spirit before us, and enter the darkness of trouble if we want to drink clearly again from the source. That's a wonderful Sufi story. Make that dark consciousness light. Let it light your way and allow it to be the meditation of your spirit, the calling home of your true self. So no matter what you've been thinking, turn from that and find the idea of confidence. Go below the labors of the mind. Go deep into the rooted center of the holy place of your heart, to the altar of your heart, where you know your truth, where you found refuge before. And let that be the guiding pilot light that you take into the dark caves and you look for the clear waters. drop into your being and open to faith. So as Judy plays these just a beautiful background music, I invite you just to plant yourself here, wherever you've been. Come back. Come back and plant yourself and close your eyes and envision in your own experience as you center and you breathe so deeply, so slowly, so purely into this divine vessel of your body. I want you to really just be here, be right here in this sanctuary of your soul. Feel yourself posturing and breathing that awareness as you become fully here. And yet also, as you see yourself in that consciousness, rise above and see yourself from above as the divine would see you. As you connect with the divine sees you. And you want to feel that you're companioned with the divine, that you're both looking down upon the humanness of your experience. And within you, whatever has troubled you or caused you to be out of sorts or doubtful or fearful or afraid or confused or sad or lonely, you call that forth with courage. And as you rise above, you also go deep within. And you feel the sense of merging oneness. That as you allow yourself to really feel the depth of your heart, the sorrow of your heart, you breathe with that, knowing that the divine showers down upon you and holds you. And you're one with that. And you breathe a deeper space into your heart. You can feel the idea of, in this instant, you're going to transform that which was. Because you see, underneath all of that is divine grace. It just rises up from within. It's that holy, holy, holy knowing. It's rising up from within. It's filled with love. And from above and around and through and behind and below is this love enveloping you. How could you be afraid? How could you doubt? Let down, let go, and feel yourself at one. In this moment, this is my faith. This is my belief that I am one with this good. And only good can outflow from this moment because I feel it. And the walls come down and I rise to the truth of who I am. I am a divine conduit of this truth at this time of history. I am an ambassador of good and truth and love, and I carry my word, I carry my way into my life. I love myself, I love my fellow man, I love the divine, and I am an instrument and a conduit, and I make things happen because I'm true to this source. So I release this word, I release this moment of contemplation and this dwelling, knowing it never leaves me, it only drives me forward. So thank you, God, for this moment of community where we share together this vessel of love. I am so incredibly grateful for the power of the word, for the power of this teaching, for the power of the divine in each and every one of our lives. Thank you, God. So it is, and so be it. Thank you.